Shout out to all my brothers out there that got the beard. They like to take care of it. They like to keep it groomed. Look, we got a Black Friday sale going on right now. $5 off our essential beard growth oil and another $3 off the balm. Right now, I'm telling you, it's going to have your beard soft and glistening with a brilliant shine all day. The link is at the top line of the description. And the best part is the shipping is free for a limited time only. See you soon.
I would hate to think there's some type of conspiracy behind all of this stuff, like someone a big picture. You know what I'm saying? Someone behind moving. A lot of the deaths that we're seeing, it's the young kids. They're the gang violence number one. So it's very difficult when blood is shed. It's very difficult to turn away from bloodshed. And it doesn't mean it was an artist, but if that artist is inside of a set or a member of a gang, they're part of retaliation and they get hit up like that. There's a lot of ignorance. We're trying to constantly educate. Instagram is a great platform, but it's also bad because it pollutes you. It
Yeah.
gives you so much wrong information, just like it could give you so much right information. So it goes both ways, and it's always up to the user to see what they get out of it. Uh, but the violence, it sounds cliche, but it has to stop. It's senseless killings, and then people getting in trouble for like things. But I hate to say senseless because I don't know all the facts of each
Mm-hmm.
particular one.
Right.
There's a time to kill. It's weird. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And it depends if someone's in that position or not knowing any of the facts or circumstances. But in my history, in my career, throughout the streets, I was raised in Hollis, Queens. Shout out Hollis, you know what I'm saying? And, came from Brooklyn. We was in Brownsville first, but I was raised in Hollis. But I seen people put all types of things aside to fix things, to make things better for a bigger picture, even with maybe not as many times with, let's say, bodies, if someone was killed prior and then, the retaliation. But if there was other beefs, there was always a way to settle them.
Definitely. Did
And
you
that's something that young kids need to understand, like that life is precious and you could always get past these wrongs and fix it. Especially when you're generating revenue and you're out of the poverty of what you was in and you're changing lives, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your auntie. Don't throw that all away for nothing, man.
definitely 100% agree? Did you get a chance to see the rapper Casanova 2 times? The FBI put a RICO case on him. I know you're familiar, with this, but can you talk?
Shout out Kaz, man. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That was someone that I got to get to know. Um, he's under a ton of pressure now without me knowing all the details, right?
Right.
I've been through that federal system and I know what they're gonna do to him, and it's nothing. It's medieval what they're about to do to him. And all I'm saying is hold your head, and God willing, you protect yourself legally, from that standpoint, because you're gonna get put under such scrutiny and pressure. Now that they picked you up, and they probably have, I don't know all the details. I know I seen the RICO. Of course, they RICO everybody now,
Mm-hmm.
and your phone is your number one reason you're gonna get RICO.
Wow.
So his Instagram is
Yeah.
gonna make him get RICO, right? It's that conspiracy is gonna be rampant. Like he's dealing with the new version of the judicial system, right? Where they're gonna use all of that information. Think of all of the things he might have rapped about. That's evidence.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's sad, and I wish him all the well and his family, man. I know it's not the easiest time, and I got to know him, and I know this is a good brother. Like it's crazy. Like I've been around people that honestly don't want to be in situations they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of them, in my opinion. But he has a demeanor. He has a physical stature, right? Which forces other people to react to him. And then it creates an energy that just starts perpetuating. And when I started talking to him, that's absolutely what his life has been since he was a kid. He's always been a big Big dude. Big dudes get tried. They
Very true.
get tested. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of those guys that's what happened. And, his friends that was friends or some that wasn't friends. And you're dealing with that coming up in Brooklyn, and it's hard enough navigating in life when you throw in all those situations. I just wish him the best, and hopefully he holds his head and things work out good for him.
Absolutely. Now it's a lot of backlash coming to media platforms in regards to Casanova 2 times and his interviews with that
Yeah.
platform.
Again,
it serves a right to have kind of some, I guess, responsibility in this as well.
who has the responsibility? The company that's putting out the broadcast?
Asking the questions, distributing information.
Well,
I mean,
of course,
somebody got to answer the question.
you're a reporter. You're a podcast reporter.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, that's all love. That's your job. As an interview, the person being reported, you're reporting and getting information from me. It's my job to know what I'm giving out.
Yes, sir.
What was that skit? I think it was Chris Rock when he said, "When keeping it real goes wrong."
Yeah.
You're controlling your actions. Don't be mad of the question asked. Be mad at the responses given that you gave. No one put a gun to your head and say this. You know what I'm saying? Everything, I could sit back and like I said, in my career with Murder Inc. and everything that all the trials and tribulations we went through, you don't hear the conversations because there's nothing to talk about. If it's something like that, you keep it there. If it's not, you don't, right? And he has to understand that because now, and what I mean by that is, if he was doing anything illegal, I do not know. I'm just saying, if he had anything illegal, the minute something happens and for that illegal activity, all this gets piled on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything that he said is going to just get piled on it. And then when you're facing 12, those 12 jurors that you're going to be facing if you go the distance like we did, oh man, it's not cool. Because now they're presented a case that says, I don't know his full name, his real name. I'm just calling Casanova. It's saying the United States of America versus Casanova.
Yeah.
The perception of the 12 that's you're gonna be trying to deal with right away is like, oh, the government don't put you in trial for nothing. That's why their conviction rate is so high. It's the United States of America saying you did X, Y, Z. Oh, the perception of those jurors is you did it. How much did you do? Now let's hear your case. And then when they throw all that in, that's when it gets insurmountable. That's why the conviction rate is so high. They're 98 or 99%. They don't lose. That's because of that perception. And when you walk through that door in that courtroom, man, that is ungodly. That's the devil right there, man. It's the worst thing you feel.
I bet. Can you take us back a little bit to your federal, your case with Murder Inc. And
Sure.
what was the first contact that you had with the FBI when it was like, all right, we into it now? Can you take us back there?
Oh man, they came to the house.
Man.
You wake you up and they come early. They don't come late. They come 6 a.m. They hit my house. They hit Irv's house. They hit all our accountants. They hit everybody at the same time, 6 a.m. You know why they do that? Because that keeps you unprepared. No one could go run to each other and try and fix something, change something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely strategic. But at the end of the day, all we was doing was selling records. And it's sad that we went through what we went through. And they didn't like the fact that we're friends with Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who's to this day my friend. And I still take care of. You understand? He did nothing wrong. We just tried to help someone that we learned to know and became, close friends with and help him be legitimate in real corporate America business, which he did. And when he made that first $1 million, they said no, and that's when they came.
Right. Now they applied heavy pressure on you guys. Is it true that they pretty much told you, like, if you don't give him up, that you're going to be sitting in jail with him?
Oh, absolutely. They used to come to my house. So again, they used to come to my house to come talk to me pretty often. In a week, I would say 2 to 3 times in a week. Every week. Before the trial started, while we're only under we're not even arrested yet, except for we're under investigation. They didn't indict us. They didn't arrest us yet. They just coming and fucking with you. I'm telling you, it's crazy shit. And I never knew I had to pay for lawyers, and I wasn't charged for a crime.
Man.
You know, from a criminal standpoint. So they would come to the house and ask me your questions. They told me if you don't give them up, you're gonna be right with them. And I would sit there and I'm like, but he didn't do nothing wrong, and I didn't do anything wrong. What are you telling me? I'm gonna sit with him. And they laugh and then leave. It got to a point that came so much I would just open the door and go back to the bedroom. And they would sit in my living room waiting for me to come out the bedroom.
Damn.
And I would be like, you guys still here? Bugged out. And I'm sitting there like, but my whole thing was I didn't do anything wrong. So I can never think that I'm gonna be in a position to fight for my life, which I was. But my mind never allowed me to go there, if you understand.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I told my lawyer, Gerald Shargell, I was just with him. I told him, I said, listen, if God has it where I gotta fight from inside out to get back out, that's what I'm doing, because I said I'm not taking a day for nothing I didn't do, and I'm not making up no stories on anybody just to get myself out of a jam that shouldn't be here anyway. And he was like, he instructed me. Now that was after they offered us no jail time, but we have to tell the story on Supreme, and we would get probation. No jail time. He was facing 20. No jail time in that. And I told him, just set the court date. And that's what I told my lawyer. And when I told him that, he said, hold on, Chris, before he said, do you realize I cannot guarantee those 12 jurors are gonna say the same thing we know, which is we're not guilty. Mm-hmm. And I said, I understand that, Jerry. Go, let's set the date. And we went back in there and we set the date. And that was after they gave us 2 offers before that. That was their 3rd offer, and we didn't accept it. But that's exactly what I told Jerry. I said, I'm not taking a day for something I didn't do. And if God is wanting me to fight from inside out to get myself free or to exonerate myself, then that's the life I got. You know what I'm saying? I did all of that with my brother, you know what I'm saying, with Irv. And I say with my brother, but the case, when you go through it was all really around me, because I handled all the money, all the business. I was the business side. Irv was making records, but I did all the business. And when you're talking a money laundering case, who did the money? Chris. So everything was really circled around everything I did. If I didn't handle my books properly, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
That's facts. Wow. How did it ever come to a point where you were like, man, I know I'm an innocent man, but I may do some time knowing the conviction rate of the FBI and knowing they want me? There may be
Nah.
Never crossed your head at all.
I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth. That's a great question. There was one time. It's deliberation. I'm gonna give you the exact scenario. Deliberation. And if you ever been through a trial, so we was up for 2 charges. Conspiracy to money launder was the first charge, and money laundering was the second charge for $1 million. Mind you, we was paying 8 figures in money in taxes. How am I laundering $1 million? I was gambling over almost $2 million a week, gambling, and they have all my records. This is them saying it, not me. They proved it out for me. But and I'm money laundering $1 million. I said, if I'm money laundering $1 million, why would I gamble $2 million? What sense does that make?
Right.
And who am I money laundering with? Preem didn't have money when we started fucking with him. That wasn't Supreme from Supreme Team days where he was making $1 million a week. That wasn't that nigga. This was the Preem after 12 years, came home, no money, ideas, but tons of relationships. But he didn't have no money. In his case, John Reagan, his fucking snitch, was fucking busy paying for his hotels with credit card scams. If that's not a nigga of money, you got Texas Preem asking for $500, $1,000. He was too proud to ask for money if he didn't have money. He would do it. And this is not a nigga I'm money laundering $1 million with. Who am I laundering with? That's why that case was so stupid. But at the end of the day, that one day with the jurors, they come when they're deliberating, the jurors send out notes. And the notes is to clarify a law or an interpretation of a law. And they asked us to interpret, the first charge was money laundering. The second charge was conspiracy to money laundering. Very important to order. And the reason that I'll explain is because when they asked the note that came out was could you define conspiracy to money laundering? And I said, oh, fuck, they trying to fuck us. I went crazy in the courtroom. And mind you, we're right at the table, but it's just our lawyers because it's deliberation, so no one's really in the courtroom. Mm-hmm. And God is my witness. That's the one day that I thought, and it took me literally about 45 minutes to get off of it. I walked in a little circle right by the phone booth after I talked to the lawyers, like, the fuck is this? Because what that means is we're not guilty on money laundering because that's the first charge.
Right.
So they already gave a verdict of not guilty for that. They're on the second charge, because if I did money laundering, I had to conspire to do it. You're guilty, right? So right away, I'm like, they gave us not guilty. I'm going crazy. How they trying to fucking hang me on the fuck? And it's the same charge of 20 years. Either one is 20 years. Like, how the fuck they trying to give us fucking conspiracy money? So my lawyers have to, with the prosecutors, provide the information of what conspiracy to money laundering is, and then they're gonna deliberate whether we did that or not. So we're conspiring now. That's the crazy shit with conspiracy. When they throw that conspiracy on, and that's the reason you can't win. It doesn't even need to be like we fuck with each other or have a relationship. That is conspiracy. If you spoke to someone, they could make up the story. If the jurors believe it, you did it. That's it.
Wow. Now, can you?
It's crazy. And I literally, after me and my lawyers like, calm down, Chris, calm down. I walked outside the courtroom in a little booth where the phones are. And I walked in a circle talking to God for maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And I was like, you ain't going to do this to me. This can't happen. You know what I'm saying? And I went back in the room and I was calm. But that is literally the only time I was in fear. People used to see me out all the time during the trial. And they, we was on the front page. And they were looking at me like, damn, what are you doing out? I'm like, we're supposed to be in a fucking hole somewhere? Like, it was, like, you know what I'm saying? But they would look at me like I'm a Martian, I'm telling you.
Wow.
It would be the crazy shit. And I'll be out in clubs. My driver, my boys would come with me. During the worst of times made the best things occur. So the best thing that happened to me during the worst of that is I got to know everybody next to me, clearly. I investigated, and I let them know I will be investigating each and every one of you fuck niggas and seeing if you're cooperating with the government. So I know to get away. And I'm a knock on wood. My niggas came back 100. And I was out with them, partying with them, right through the trial, every day, get up in the morning after I party to go to trial, everything. And I didn't eat nothing but bread and water the whole time, every day.
Wow, man,
that
that's
was
crazy.
Just me on my own mental. Yeah, like I would go. We would go every morning, have breakfast with the lawyers. Bread and water. That's all I ate. Dinner time, bread and water. That's it.
Was that almost like a fast for you? Like bread and water.
It was a fast, but it was really me serving my mind. God forbid something happened.
Got you.
It's it's just a mental thing that I did for me personally.
I got you.
Can you take us back before it's not a rumor? I heard Jay Prince say it out of his own mouth, and Irv, I think he said it. Dame Dash at a time where your brother Irv Gotti, Dame Dash, Jay Prince, and maybe one other person was trying. Suge Knight was trying to form a black music distribution company, and the rumor is, and not even a rumor, because like I said, Jay Prince said it. He said around this time when you guys got together, all the feds started coming at everybody. They came at Prince. They came at y'all. Could you confirm it to be true?
Absolutely. That's not a rumor. That's 1,000% true. But there's also factors that happened. To me, one of the main things was Supreme made a movie called Crime Partners that it went straight to DVD. It was a DVD release, and the DVD did over $4 million first week. Okay, which means Kenneth Supreme McGriff now is a legitimized guy from the street. Right? Legitimate business. He had a $1 million deal with the soundtrack, and then the DVD comes out and does well. The soundtrack was going to sell, but they pulled it. Universal pulled it. They put up $1 million for it. We had Jay-Z on the soundtrack, Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, Ja Rule. This is in their height. You understand? This is records that Supreme, because he knew all of these people and got records from directly. DMX all gave him records, and he went and got a soundtrack from Universal $4 million for Crime Partners. and they pulled all of the music. They own everything and stopped. They did not want this guy to become legitimate. They used to say to me, he won't get away. He's gonna be where all his friends are, either in jail or dead before this is over. This is what they would tell me, the feds. So this is what we dealt with. Like, again, we didn't come out and talk about it when it was going on. We wasn't I don't want to glorify the procedure. No, this took a 9-figure business for me and my brother, and my family, that we're still just now getting back to. How about that? And we're in 2020. We was exonerated in 2004. 16 years later, and I'm still just getting back to where we was at that moment because of, corporate America. No one wants to do business with you.
Yeah.
At that point, no one wants to do business with you, and all our businesses suffered from it. And like I said, we was doing over 200 million with Murder Inc, and now it's gone. All because people think 50 cent. I'm like, 50 could take away jobs, still $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing $150 million in revenue. Like, are you kidding me? Stop. He couldn't stop it. But when your partner, your music partner, doesn't work with you or cooperates against you, and they're not supporting your music, how do you expect us to get back to business?
Right.
Now, 50 Cent, man, it's been a lot. I've seen some of your videos on 50. First thing I want to ask you about 50, there's rumors been going around about him being a snitch and having a protection order. It came out last year again. What's your experience with 50 Cent? Do you think that
I would sit here and say, first and foremost, I don't know him. That's another misconception. I can't I'm a street dude, raised in, and again, I live by a code. I live by ethic. Never was in a gang. Howard's crew might have been my gang, because I'm an old head, so we didn't have Bloods and Crips or anything. We was your block. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I'm a Hollis crew member. Like, at the end of the day, I don't know that man to have a beef with that man, right? But did I partake in actions against him? Of course. I was with Ja Rule, who had the beef. I inherited beef. My brother inherits a beef. That's family, Rock Rule's family. So at the end of the day, yes, there was altercations, more than once. We never took an L. At the end of the day, it's a big misconception, because he's the roughest, toughest Dundada in New York, but he never was out partying in New York City. And at that moment, when you're at the height, you never seen him in the clubs, and if he did, he was with a ton of police. Did he put an order of protection right after the what's that studio, Hit Factory? He had got stabbed, got beat up, ran, had a couple scratches, bruises, whatever he wants to say. I know he always makes light of it. He make light of the order of protection he put against me and her. He didn't put it against Rule. He put it against me and her. 1,000%. I had a big beef with I think Don Diva over it, because they went and said he didn't, which was completely false. And Cavario would lie and tell you that now that it was a lie. But at the time, he got them to put up a statement like that there was no order of protection. We put it. I know Irv had posted it. I don't really get into all of this shit because it means nothing to me. Like, I'm so over it. If I walk past 50, it's good luck, God bless. It's another black man. I want to see do his thing, get his money. Just stay out. Don't get in my business. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You think that he bit
as simple as that. I don't really have. My first encounter with 50. Here's another true story most people don't know. DJ Clue set up a game at Chelsea Piers, a basketball game. I go to play basketball. This is when he's with Bangum Smurf. Y'all remember Bangum Smurf?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this is when he's with Bangum Smurf. Bernard, which is Green Eyes, is Eric Sermon's manager at the time, and we're all in the gym. We go to play ball. I go to play some ball. 50's there playing ball. I don't know what he looks like or nothing. The way I find out it's 50 is because I keep hearing chitter chatter on the court. So I grabbed the ball, I stopped the game. I said, "Yo, my man, do you know me?" And he starts smiling, don't say nothing. And then Bangum Smurf come over to him, "Come on, Fifth, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." And I said, oh, when I heard the word Fifth, I said, this must be 50 who started making these little diss tapes on Rule. So he come You know, come down to court, you know, I rough him up a little bit, nothing happens. So I said, look, you don't want no problems, let's just play ball. And that's how we get down to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up fighting. Like, I'm cool with it. Let's do it. No problem. You know what I'm saying? I got hands. We could do that. No problem. End of the day, I said, you don't want no problem. Let's go. I'm thinking he just rap. It's rap shit. It's nothing. And, you know, Preem was managing 50 at one point. How's my OG managing him and he trying to make meetings and he never shows up to the meetings? He never squashes the beat. You know, his history speaks for itself. I really hate talking about it. I ain't gonna lie, because we're so far, I'm so far removed from it, and it means nothing in my life anymore. You know, and I did it. I put in the work. You know what I'm saying? I done dealt with every one of them G Unit members except for Banks. I never ran into him. But everyone else I ran into, dealt with. All of the D12, the Eminem, everybody, like, but who cares? It's like, what difference does it make? The media wants to see another murder or something happen. Like, I don't want to even get into it. I'm past that. You know what I'm saying? I was dealing with something based on my relationship with my brother, which is not Irv Ja Rule, who's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So when he had an issue, I inherited it. You know what I'm saying? But at this point now, it's like what's done is done. It's all done. It's history. But, you know, he was definitely in my case, Curtis Jackson. So when you talk about snitching, absolutely. He said things to the police, absolutely. Again, he could deny all he wants. So what do you expect the man to do? It's like, come on. You know what I'm saying? You think he's going to just come forward and admit it? It's cool. He's successful. He made hot music. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it, and that's the God's honest truth. Like I said, I have no ill will with the nigga at all. Everything was based on what went down at that moment because of the situation with Rule and him. You know, there was, you know, and there's so much facts out here or information. It's just the media may not choose to accept them because they like the troll shit. They like the cap and shit. I'm not capping. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking from the hip, straight up. Someone could come check it and fact check me. That's what the presidents do, right? They get fact checked. Fact check me. You know, Suge Knight used to say real men say it twice. I'll say it again. You know what I'm saying? And that's a fact. Meaning I'm not going to talk behind your back. Anything I say, I'm going to say to your face too. At the end of the day, I wish him all success. Just leave niggas alone and it's all good. He's working with BMF right now. Shout out T.
Yeah.
T's my man. You understand?
Yep.
The reach is long. Hey, the reach and the love is long. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Meech. You get on soon, man.
Yes, sir.
All
Can
good.
you take us
All
back
good.
to Jay Prince real quick, man, and how you met Jay Prince? I heard it was like I don't know how you met him, but can you get to that situation?
It's in the book. I think it's in the book. He writes about me in the book. You know,
Yeah.
Let Jay. I wish we had him here because the reason he made that book, I used to tell him all the time, you got to document it. You got to write that book, man, because his stories is incredible. And you know, coming from Houston, think about that. Coming from Houston, where's this podcast in? New York.
South Jersey.
In Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
South Jersey. So South Jersey, even South Jersey is bigger than Houston. You understand? Like, it's coming from Houston and all the obstacles he had to face to accomplish what he's accomplished in music and as a businessman. He's my number one. You know what I'm saying? He's my number one independent label ever in the history of music. No one better. No one better. His business acumen, his demeanor, his legend grows. But I keep telling him, fall back. You don't need to say no more. You did it.
Yeah,
we had less is more at this point.
We had him on here 3 weeks ago. Real great guy, man.
True honor.
Definitely.
Nah, that's, man. Triple OG. Again, there's nothing I can't say. And the way we met was over a producer that was signed to his 7, who made a lot of the records with Irv. And Jay was putting pressure on 7, so 7 tried to get away from Jay. When Jay found out he was the producer, he's like, I got your contracts. So then Seven gets nervous and then starts backtracking on us, saying how he did all the music, all that money's his, and just give me my piece and you could take everything else to Jay. To which I had to go meet Jay. So I had to fly to Houston to go meet Jay for the first time. You know, I know of Jay. I didn't know who he was, and he wants me to meet him on his ranch. He loves me to tell the story. He's like, come on, Chris, tell that story. And I tell him, I said, you know, I go out there and I was like, I had people in Houston. So I called my people up. Yo, I got a problem with someone out there. Who is it? Whatever. Yo, when you get here, just pull up. Yeah, the whole thing. And I get out there and I say, they say, who is it? Because I didn't talk over the phone. I tell them it's Chris. They say, oh, man, that's the big homie. We can't do nothing.
Like, oh, dang.
And I'm telling you, I'm like, oh, man. So Preem was home at the time. And Preem's like, I'm going to meet you over there, Chris. He just finished seeing his nephew in Beaumont, Texas, in the Feds. And he comes from there to Houston and meets me. And we talk. So, you know, we go through all of this shit. And Jay everyone told us don't go to his ranch if we're going to meet him. Whatever you do, Chris, don't go to his ranch. So when I called him, like, yeah, I'm in Houston, where you at? He said, come on to my ranch. I'm like, oh, man.
Damn.
I'm like, oh, man, this nigga's lining me up right off the door, man. And you know, they was like, people don't leave his ranch. This is the rumors. This, you know, the legend. That's what I said. People's like, you go to his ranch, you never coming home.
Dang.
And right away, he wanted me to meet his ranch. So I go to his ranch, me and Preem, but he sends a call. I'm like, I'm going to drive there. He said, no, I'm going to send people to come get you. He sent 2 SUVs.
Damn.
4 in each SUV. Well, 4 in one and 2 in the other. Okay, 6 niggas to come pick me up. And then I told him I got Preem, and then my man Black, who's my man out there, is like, Chris, I'm going to come with you. So if he go down, I know him, I'll try and stop it. So he come with. So it's us 3 in the back seat, 2 niggas in the front, and then a whole nother truck following us with 4 niggas.
Wow.
And we get to the ranch, and I'm telling you, when me and Preem, we making jokes. We like, yo, it's good knowing you. We say, acting like we gonna die. We like, but we gonna take some niggas with us. Yeah. Man. And then we get out there. We get out there and we look around. He gotta have at least 70, 80 niggas in the house.
Jesus.
All over. Preem was like, damn, this is the yard. This is the yard. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. I know, look, they're cooking in the kitchen, they're in the living room, they're outside playing ping pong, they're shooting pool. I mean, they're literally all over the range, all over the house.
Beautiful thing.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm here to Prince. And he made me wait. So then I get a little impatient because I came a long way. I don't feel I should be waiting. Right? If I come all this distance, it took me a minute to get to the ranch, and then you know I'm coming and you're not ready. So I get up and I say, Leo, where's Prince? I'm like, yo, I need to talk to this man. Where's he at? And as soon as I did that, he come from the back. Hey, which one of y'all is Chris? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. And we going, come on. He said, come on in the back. And he's like, I said, Preem, you good? Preem was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm at home. He's talking about he in the yard. He's home and shit. So we go into Prince's office there. He don't understand the impression, or if he do, he knows exactly what he's doing. So the impression is crazy. It's just, I think, you know, and I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm a strong-minded individual. I don't fold under pressure. No one's gonna put even if I'm scared shitless, you'll never see it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all human. I just have a way of showing nothing. So I walk in that room, and I told Prince that, and like he knows. That's why he loved me to tell the story. And he got stuffed animals, like he got a lion over here. So he's a hunter. You see all the, you know what I'm saying, all the artifacts. And then he got his desk. You see, I'm at my desk now. You see, this is my office. This is a desk. But behind him, he got the arsenal. He got the AKs. He got all the weapons behind him. And I'm like, oh man, in my head, I'm like, this motherfucker here. You know, and then we had you know, to his credit, he asked all the right questions and accepted all the answers because he knew it was real. Which was, I told him, I said, Seven never could get a record with Jay. He don't know Jay. We did that. He's never getting 100%. He gave him his 50%. I don't care if you take all of his 50%. He got it. But you're not coming over here. This is our money over here. We did like I did the business right. I didn't have to cut 7 that deal, but I did it that way because I didn't want nothing coming back. And I would let all my producers, and that's why you never hear no beefing with money shit with Murder Inc.
That's a fact.
Because I did the business. You never heard Rule beefing about nothing. That nigga's still right here because we always did his deal. We took care of him. We made sure his deals were the best they could be. And he would understand we're fighting for him, even though he's on my label. You know what I'm saying? You know, with in the label, Universal hated us for that. They hated that we would inform our artists about why they should get the money and not. They would tell us, leave the artists, go get another artist. They'll come and take a less deal to watch and see. They'll take less. And that's the nature of the music industry when we was dealing with it. It was like basically fuck artists.
Yeah.
I would say that's where they're built on that. So I don't think they changed today. You know what I'm saying?
I think the artist took a little
but that's
more.
the Jay Prince. Me and Jay Prince became, dear friends after that. We've done a lot of business with each other, and we've helped each other out and a lot. Like I helped him out with a lot of things as well as he helped me out with a lot of things. So, the friendship has grown very closely. You know what I'm saying? He's a dear friend.
Dope. Well, we know you short for time, man. Definitely got more questions, but another day, another time, man. We don't want to hold you from your other meetings, but whenever you get some free time, brother, hit our people up and let's set this up, man. So
man,
we
didn't even get going. We didn't get nowhere either, man. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. It's only 40 minutes. I mean, we can keep
a little time. We can rock a little more.
We can roll a little more.
10 more, 15
I'll
minutes.
tell you, you go to look. I did my text. You can go to 6:30 and we good.
Love. All right, that's work.
Cool.
So the music industry, you're talking about it then, how it wasn't for the artist and how it was a different day and time back when Murder Inc. was at its height. But now you got 2020 where it's a different day, a different time. How's music different? How was it compared then and now?
I have Adventure Music, baby. Adventure Music. That's my, my entity. And people always ask me, how you as a label, now you're a distribution company. I say, because I understand what artists really need. I'm trying to empower the artists. So the freedom today is there. The internet, we couldn't market back in the days. Today you can market with it by yourself. That was the hardest thing, to get your product out to people to know that it exists. Today you can do that for pennies on the dollar or free even with Instagram and all these platforms. So it's up to you, and you eat what you kill. The more you work on your shit, the more you're going to get out of it. Okay. So, stop looking for handouts and start manning up and start, let's go. Let's get to this independent. We all, as black men, and we always talk about owning shit. Here's the opportunity to own music. Hip hop is the biggest form of music ever in the history of music. It's bigger than anything you ever could think of. That's how big hip hop is. And we own it. We should own it because we created it.
Fact.
And we don't. And that's the problem. But now we have an opportunity because of the internet, because of the volumes of independent artists. If they just understood, if they stick together, if they come to Adventures, and we have an Adventure music community where we stick together and support each other, because it doesn't take away from your money because you like Jay-Z, because you like fucking John Doe. It doesn't stop your bread. That's the misconception.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If we could support each other in that capacity from an independent standpoint, Universal's no longer needed, and it's time to let them be out of here. There's no need for a record label, in my opinion, today.
Word. Agreed.
Another big artist that you guys had on Murder Inc. was Ashanti. What happened with that situation to your best recollection, Ashanti and Murder Inc. situation?
Everything was great. We sold a ton of fucking records. And, Ashanti, that's Baby Girl, that's Bon Bon. Shout out Bon Bon, you know what I'm saying? Again, what people misunderstand or talk about all the time, which I'm pretty sure you're alluding to, is Irv and her had a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to interview your ex-girlfriend. How about that for a response? It's all how you handle. If Irv handled things the way I'm talking, it would be so simple. Like, oh, you want to talk about Ashanti? Let me go interview your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend and let's see what they say about you.
Word.
Because even that, she won't say nothing bad, is what I'm trying to point out. It was a relationship that, again, that again got volatile, and but don't ever discount the fact we went through a federal trial. Universal, our partner, cooperating against us, not supporting our projects or our artists on the label. So if we put out an album, she's not getting promoted properly or anything because they're not supporting. Just let's not discount none of that shit, and let's deal with facts, please. Like, so when people ask me about Shani, she just called me the other day, like, we good money. Irv and her had a relationship. Irv and her have a love-hate relationship after they've been through. She could never hate Irv in the sense of he made her. He created that woman. She was not the artist she was until Irv put his hands on her and gave him his production and producing acumen. Irv is a beast, one of one. And I know it's my brother and people could discount it, but I could put up numbers and prove it. Again, I talk facts. I don't say it just because he's my brother. I say it because it's real. Like, and I could argue it to anyone. What he's done, the amount of money generated for the artists he brought to the business, he's bar none. It's only Dr. Dre that got a fucking hand in, you know what I'm saying? That could talk what he's done from the impression of all the artists he's brought to the table. You know, it's very and then with Ashanti, again, there's always love and wishing her the best. Now, Irv, no matter what he says, there's a part of him that's his baby. He's his creation. You want to tell me, just using your own common sense, that you're telling me he would hate on that? Never. He wants to see that baby thrive and grow, and then he could always stand on it like, I built that, I made that. And he did. Everything she went through, he taught her everything. She was a baby. You know what I'm saying? She was a baby in the game. He taught her everything. And then the relationship outside of the music relationship went into a whole nother aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a very young girl with an older dude too. Don't ever discount that, right? So she's inexperienced or not knowing things and you know, Irv was out doing his 1-2 still. So what do you expect? Shit is bad.
Ain't gonna be mad.
But it's simple to understand. It's not more or less. And I promise you, there is nothing but love and admiration when it gets down to it. No, neither one is like, don't do good or hate that. No, they just don't want to interact with each other. They had a volatile relationship.
Absolutely.
I was there.
Say that one more time.
I always make jokes with Ashanti saying she owes me money for therapy because I was her therapist and hers. They would call me. They'd be at separate hotels. They'll come over here and talk, come over here and talk, and I'm in the middle of it.
She fine wine now though. Salute to Ashanti. Salute to Irv too, man. Y'all, you know one thing about you brothers, it's always and we've been reaching out to you two since we started this podcast. You and your brother Irv, and we're real honored to have you on right now to talk to you. Yeah. Talk about your upbringing and how you guys are so focused and driven, and just have that kind of aura about y'all that y'all won't allow anything to let y'all lose.
Nothing else. You know, we're first and foremost we're family orientated. My dad just passed from cancer or pneumonia because of the medicine they gave him for pneumonia. Okay. And 80, you know, what he did, and it's 8 of us. It's not just me and Irv. It's 8 of us. But what he did and what he raised was men. And there's an honor in the code of how we move and how we look at people again and what we want. I want the best for everybody. That's no lie. If you're trying to harm me, I would never want the best for you, right? I'm going to protect mine, and I do it for my family. So it's bigger than me. It's bigger than her. So when you say you see that drive, it's really because I want to honor my mom and dad, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to honor my kids and give them my ceiling is their floor. Mm. Okay, so understand that. So the higher I go, the higher they start.
Word.
And that's my motivation and drive. And me and Irv, we understand that. And then once we get information and knowledge, we didn't go to school. This is all from learning the hard way and just listening and talking to people and forming opinions and ideas and trying shit and missing and trying it again, get knocked down and stand up. All of those sound like bullshit, and that's exactly what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, get down, knock down 9 times, stand up 10. That's 1,000%.
Word.
You know, Jay, we would have so many conversations in a lot of songs. I've been listening to some old Jay-Z songs, and Lucky Me is the song that I'm referring to. If you never knees in the dirt, you understand? I'm gonna go out on my feet.
Yeah.
And that's because we used conversations with Jay and Rockefeller. It'd be Murder Inc, Rockefeller. We just talking on some real live man shit, like grown man shit. But Jay put it in song. So when I listen back, it brings me to understand the values and principles that we was all originated from, that we stood on. You know what I'm saying? You know, he talks about he said if he go to court, he's like he said, I'm not trying to be tough, but it was him or me. That's some real shit, yo. When you listen to the words of Lucky Me, go ahead, everybody listen to this podcast. Go listen to Lucky Me. He said, and it'll be sad if I don't get to see my godson Boogie, Sonny, and Primo. Sonny's Irv's, just so y'all understand. Primo is a big son, and Bugs is Dame's son. We was family. That's all family. Jay is family to this day. Never changed. Been through too much. You know what I'm saying? This is all family shit. Never could change. And he knows, you know, I had a conversation with him. I said, Irv is my brother. I said, but Irv's your brother. He'll die for you. Just know that. He looked at me and shook his head. He got it. Because that wasn't at a good time. That was something that I would talk about. That was a bad time when I said it. Him and Irv went through something. But I let him know in family we fight. But it don't mean we ain't still right here.
Damn.
What do you think about
you know, he understood. Like me and Jay, I love Jay. Like I said, when I look at him now and talk to him, I'm in awe. He's the chosen one. He's the golden child, baby. He's the one. Say whatever anyone want to say. He's the one.
Definitely. What do you think about him and Jay-Z and Dame Dash's relationship as of today, and how Jay-Z kind of went his own separate way?
I love
Don't
Dame.
even
Shout
Dash
out to
anymore.
Dame. That's my brother too. Dame is my brother. Hey, Dame is my brother too. When I talk that Rockefeller, it's not just Jay, it's everyone in Rockefeller. It was not, you know what I'm saying? It's not just DMX, it's DY, everybody in Rough Riders. That was us. Irv created all three. They had a big part in all three of those things. That's all family. And we extended it as such. We moved as such. Now mistakes was made, but at the end of the day, we move as such. Like family, you make a mistake as with your family members, it's okay. You fix it and move on, and you only get stronger from
Yeah, that's good to know. Because it seemed like at the time, I mean, there was a lot of competition obviously going on. Murder Inc, Rockefeller, Rough Riders. How did you guys stay so, you know, as a tight knit family when you guys were essentially in competition with each
it.
other?
Shit, we all competitive. You crazy? All competitive. Back then, that was the fun. Listen to me, that was the fun in it. Like, let me tell you something. This is true shit. We would bust in on sessions, and back then it was DATs. Or, you know, we would have a DAT of all our music. And we would bust in on niggas' sessions and be like, what? Play this. And just start playing our shit and then leave. Fuck their whole session up. And Swiss did it to us. Jay did it to us. We did it to them. It was part of the competition. Like, we got to make better records. But that's what made the history. You understand? We would do it with Puff. Puff was also part of the family. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? Puff was part of the family. We go in there and we bust in and play music. He played music and we talking ideas. And Irv is a monster. Like, Irv is a monster. I don't take credit for all of that. I was just part of it in the experience of it. Irv is the creative that came up with all the music, all the concepts. All I did was help him make it happen.
Oh man, appreciate
so when
these.
he was doing all that, and I'm right there with him, you know, and I'm right there with him. It was just a great time, man. Music was alive, man. We would go to other people that wasn't family and kill their whole dreams and hopes when they heard the music we coming with, because we like, and then you know, back then it was like when you releasing, because that's a big deal, because you don't want to get in the way if we're gonna have a big release and you was less of an artist. So our friends, we would tell them to release. If you wasn't like our friend, we would never tell you when we release it, so we might end up crushing your ass.
Smash your ass.
But it's all competition. It was a friendly competition. You know what I'm saying? This is it's a competitive sport. this hip hop shit. It's no one sitting back and he's the best and that's it. Everyone's trying to get Drake.
It's the truth.
Right?
True
Even Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Even Lil Wayne, even Nicki, his family. They trying to get him. He's just better.
Yeah, and sell better. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up with these artists? I don't know if you peeped it on IG. They sign an artist. If you're looking for an artist, you're looking for this. We got a lot of people in our inboxes hitting us up talking about, yo, these niggas are scamming up and down. And I'm like, yo, we don't know enough to say enough. But now that we got you on,
who's looking though?
What you mean? Oh, like art, like I'm
looking. Like, who is looking for the artist?
All right, like for example, we seen Bow Wow, he put it up. We just seen Game put it up. And I'm not saying that these individuals are scamming in particular, but we've seen a lot of artists put these artists in our inbox saying that they're scammers, that they're asking people to sign up or get on a mixtape and offering money and not providing what they're offering or what they're asking and just taking money from.
So in my opinion, I understand. In my opinion, it's twofold, right? It's not just clear as they're scammers, right? I would say that. But what I would say is maybe someone around them is looking for a profit, a fast come up, because they know artists will throw them $1,000, $500, whatever they're asking for, real quick, and then you'll make a few racks or whatever it may be, real quick, you know. And I would only say, like, to the people going there, they should see what deal do they have, because most of those artists you mentioned don't have a deal. So, see, you got to do your homework too as the consumer. Don't just accept what they give you, right? Fact check. If they have a label situation, yes, they could walk into a label. That is absolutely. And I will sit here and tell you, even if they walked into a label, the label's not just running and give them a deal because the times have changed. Yeah. So labels give deals based on numbers and response audience today. They don't care about your music like they used to. You know, we would get a deal based on they heard a song and a label like, I could market that and make it money. Let's get this guy a deal. Let's go. Today, they don't give a fuck about that. They care about the reaction of that song. Did you put it out? How many people's looking at it? How many people's listening to it? How many people's fucking with you? So then now they could mitigate their risk. You know, they could go and start looking into business from a business perspective to say, okay, it makes sense to give this guy $1 million. Mm-hmm. So if you're an artist trying to get that deal, understand that that's exactly what they have to still do with you. Now, if they have their own label with a deal behind it, and that's what they ask, and then you won't get scammed. Just ask a question. You might get the answer. It's simple as saying, hey, what label are you with? And what does the winner get? I don't want to just sign to you and I don't know you got a deal, because then now you got to shop me to get a deal. Now, you might want that also. There's going to be artists that want that. They want the affiliation. They want to be next to that artist, and then cool. But there'll be the ones that don't want that. I'm a transparent guy, so what I try to do with my company at Venture Music is be as transparent as possible. I want you to understand and then look in the mirror and make your decision. Right. I don't want to make a decision for anybody. I don't own it. When it's Murder Inc. and I have an opinion because I own it, it's different. I'm going to say, hey, I like that or I don't like that. But when it's your shit, I don't want to tell you about your music. You own your music. You do what you want. Make it, figure out your game plan, and then you need help executing. I'll tell you what you could do and who you could get to, and then you pay and you could get to them and try and execute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just got one last question for you, man, today. We appreciate, this powerful interview today. A lot of people don't know that you became a millionaire in real estate before you got into music. Can you talk about that for our audience?
Oh, sure. Before, when we were struggling, the reality is my mother was throwing me, and she wanted to throw Irv out the house because we wasn't making money. So we wasn't doing nothing. We wasn't going to school, and she's like, I'm not raising no bums. Mm-hmm. And I went to her. Again, it's something Irv doesn't even know. So this is something I never even spoke to Irv about. But I went to my mother and said, don't bother Irv. I'll go get some work. And I did. And I was always building stuff. I swear to this day, I think I built, those pull-out basketball courts?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
You roll and you can put.
yeah.
You know, I promise you, I was the first one to ever make that. I built a pull-out basketball court on my block, and I'm sure someone who invented that and got the credit for it, seeing that pull-out that I made and went and patented it and made up. But I made that pull-out basketball court way before there was pull-out basketball courts. Um, and then I noticed as soon as I did that, because I used to pull it out and play right in front of the house, I noticed that I started seeing them everywhere. So what I'm trying to say is I always was very good with my hands as far as building. You know, no one. I don't have a picture of these things, and I wish it was today because I wish I had a picture. I built a radio. You know, back in the day, we used to have a big boom box,
Yeah.
you know, big speakers and carry Radio Raheem. You know what I'm saying? I was Radio Raheem, but I made my own. You know, we didn't have no money, so that's why you're hearing me make all of this shit. And I would take scrap wood and make shit. And like I made the basketball court, we stole the rim and it stole the net, and then I built the backboard. I took wood and made a backboard and made the stand and the whole thing out of a lot of wood. And I made a radio because we didn't have a radio. So I went and made a radio. My boy used to steal cars. He had all these car radios. So I took a car radio, some speakers, some 6x9 speakers. I put an amp inside it. And I literally made a radio that was fucking loud as fuck. And again, anyone that went to Bayside High School with me would have seen me carrying it. But I don't have any. And if anyone from Bayside High School has a picture, contact me at Chris Gotti at 187 and send it to me. I want to see it. I promise you, I've been trying to get a picture because people don't believe I built the radio. But the whole football team, I used to play football. The whole football team knows, all my boys, because they used to tell me to bring that shit because it was so loud. And one of my players, Jason was my lineman. He was a lineman. He used to always say, play Turn It Up, which was a Kool Moe Dee record. And like, blast that shit. And that's his favorite record, get him hyped. But I used to have a homemade radio, and I had it working on batteries or a plug. You just had to switch the switch, whichever one you was doing. So I always was good with my hands. My sister was in construction and working on the inside for a company called Prue Construction. And she learned the inside. She's an accountant, but she learned how to do bids. You know, I'm doing city work. I wasn't doing like homes at the time. I'm not talking about that. I was doing city work. So I was doing parks, schools, and roads, things like that. And then you have to bid. And it's all city work, which means it's union. We're a black-owned company. Our specialty was concrete. And we started bidding on jobs and getting jobs. We had a partnership with a guy named Kenny Frolic who owned Gateway Demolition, which Gateway didn't do general contracting, just building stuff. They only ripped shit down. But we convinced them to put up the bonds because we didn't have the money for the bonds. So the bonds is very important because if a job is $3 million, we have to have bonds with value to $3 million to get the job. And we didn't have that. So we did a deal for 50-50 with Kenny, 50-50 on all the profits. And he put up the money. And we bid jobs, we started getting jobs, and the jobs got bigger and bigger. Our biggest job was over $17 million. And we at one time was doing over $40 million in construction work. So I learned how to operate every machine, everything. And then, you know, me and my sister were partners, and we were making good money. And we were funding Irv. Then Irv got hot and shit changed. And then that's when I was with Irv in the music. I was with Irv in the music from the reason he started music. I DJ'd, I had the equipment. He started getting on it and got really nice. And that's really the inception of how he got started in music. So once we got in it, we wasn't making money. And then my mother came, I was like, fuck, I gotta go get some money. And then that's how it evolved into that. But you know, I did construction for 13 years. And we did, I mean, my jobs are still all over New York City. Brooklyn, Bronx was my main borough. I did so much work in the Bronx, so much work in Brooklyn, Queens, a few jobs in Staten Island. But those were my main jobs, was those boroughs in that order. And we did park, schools, you know, highways and roads. Like, and you know, Kennedy High School, there's a school right next to Kennedy called 230. We built that whole school there, and the whole street, the whole thing. And that's in the Bronx. Oakley's Car Wash was right there. So I fuck with Oak. Shout out to Oakley. From the Knicks, Oakley, just so you know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. Charles Oakley, yeah.
Yeah.
And we used to see him all the time. I remember one time I was operating a machine. I ripped up the power lines and shut down all the power over there. His car wash had to close down. Yeah, it was crazy. It wasn't my fault. See, when you get specs, the city has to tell you where all their lines are. So once I ripped up the ground, they didn't tell me there's any power lines here, so I could dig. And they was wrong. And it wasn't close. It was far off. It was out of hate for all the businesses downside.
Right. Damn.
You understand? If I shut down the power and no business could operate, we have to pay for that.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Lost business revenue. But we didn't have to because it wasn't my fault.
Inspirational as hell, man.
But yeah, construction was definitely, it's one of my biggest regrets. I didn't keep up the business. I always say that because I had such a good time doing the work. I enjoyed it, was making money, and then I had a great crew, all black. I'm telling you, these dudes never seen nothing like us. They didn't believe it. All black dudes out there. I did have 2 Italians, old school guys that was super smart with the business of building stuff, and they was loyal as ever to me because I brought them into this environment. But everything else was black. It was crazy. People, do you know about coalitions?
You said coalitions?
Yeah, do y'all know coalitions or no?
No, you got to school us on
I
that.
heard the term, but
okay, coalitions is, if you was in the mafia would come to your store and tell you need protection, but you're really getting protection from them. If you didn't pay them, they break your windows. So the coalition is from that same thing, but it was for blacks, it was for minority, black and Spanish. So if we was a job in Brooklyn, and we're in the middle of the hood, we're in Marcy Projects, doing doors. Sorry, Red Hook Projects, doing doors. The coalition, there's a group of guys that would come together in a bus, a school bus. It ain't a little group. This is a big group, 50 or more. Pull up on that school bus and tell us, put your shovels down, because they want jobs, because you're employing people in their community. So you have to have X percentage of minority workers on your jobs. So whenever I would tell them it's my company, they never believed. I was literally working. So I never looked like the boss. I was working because it's my company. I want the most. I could do the work. I'm going to work and do it, and that's it. So they would tell me, they never believe me. My sister would be there. They never believe it. She'd be working. Tina would be in the hole digging just like the rest of the men. Wow. And if they pull up and see that, they never believe it. Then when they realize, like, all my people that was working for me is my dudes from the hood that I gave jobs and taught them a trade and gave them experience, right? And they're with me, man. It used to get crazy, but then they got to know me and my sister, and then they would pull up and like, oh man, it's Chris. Oh man, and I'm like, because they couldn't get jobs with us because I'm a minority company and I'm employing all my minority workers. I said, if you want to go talk to the GC, get the job. I am the GC. You got to go to this job. They don't have that. They don't have, you know what I mean? So the coalitions, there should be a movie on coalitions. That's how deep it was back then. A lot of those guys went to jail because of what they was doing.
Damn. Powerful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate you, man. We know you got to get up out of here tonight, man. We got another interview coming up ourselves, man. Yeah. Chris Gotti in the building. Absolutely. Will you go ahead and let everybody know?
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me here, man.
Can Larry drop your social media handles, please, if you may, where people can find you?
Okay. You see, I posted it on my picture. I seen it up there. It's Chris Gotti 187 because it's still murder, in case y'all think it's still not murder. It's still murder.
Indeed, man. Well, we salute to you, brother.
But it's all good. But Adventure Music, go to my other company, adventuremusic.com. If you're an independent artist, sign up, become a member. All I do is empower independent artists to help them with their careers, show them how to get this money, no matter how good or bad you are. Music done right makes money. And I show you how to do it.
Indeed, Chris.